Hola a todos. Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I wanted to talk about two languages that I've learned and what is more difficult for me and why, or what are the differences. So I'm talking about Russian and Mandarin. If you are deciding to learn either Russian or Mandarin, I can give you a comparison based on, I think, how different they are from each other and how different they are from English and other languages that use the Latin alphabet, because the language uses the Cyrillic alphabet, and Mandarin uses the Chinese characters, which is different from Japanese characters, like the modern Japanese characters. Um, ancient Japanese text is actually Mandarin. um, some at some point in history, they all had the same writing because Japan is very near mainland China, and it's crazy for them. Or okay, this is going to be something politically, someone's going to complain, but historically, if you look at the people of Japan and the people of China, um, they're very similar in features, and at some point in history, they were the same people. And even if today they would say that they're separate countries, which of course through history, countries separate, leadership separate, but basically they all came from the same ancestry. Yes, so basically those are the two languages that I'm going to be comparing, and I think I think that a lot of people are trying to learn one or the other, because these countries are huge, when it comes to economic power, the market capacity, and the population and the percentage of the world economy. These are huge countries with, again, with a lot of people, and um, they have, because of that, they have, what's this? They have the capacity. I mean, anything that these countries do will affect the world in some one way or another, basically. So, and so for Mandarin and Russian, I think those who would want to learn it would be intimidated by the script. So I'm going to talk about that as well. So first is I want to give a short background on my history with Mandarin. I studied Mandarin from nursery until high school. I studied in Chinese schools that offer Chinese, so Chinese schools here, and basically I was taught Mandarin in school until high school. I did not go to a Chinese university. Not a lot of people do, and there are not a lot of, it's not an official language here in the Philippines. English and Filipino are taught, required by the Department of Education to teach every school, that unless you're an international school, I think. I'm not sure. But if you're a local school operating under the Department of Education and the Commission of Higher Education here in the Philippines, you are required to teach English and Filipino, the two official languages, but Mandarin is not required. So until high school, then I stopped learning Mandarin. And then for Russian, I have always been interested in, enjoyed Russian literature, and have always been curious about the country north of Mongolia, because in school we studied Chinese history and Chinese Mandarin, and it was always just until China. And of course, the south of China would be the other Southeast Asian countries, South Asian countries, and basically the South China Sea. But to the north is something that is still foreign to me, like the north of Mongolia, that would be Russia. So I have always been interested in that. So in December of 2021, I started to learn Russian. So today I have over 600 hours of learning Russian, and I can now compare the difference between the two. So the script, Russian, I think, so the question here basically is going to be which one is easier or which one is more difficult, Russian or Mandarin. And I could say, and I would say in my experience, that Mandarin Chinese or Chinese is more difficult to learn, especially if you're going to learn the language in full. What do I mean? Meaning you can read, write, and speak the language. I know that like a great example would be in Russian would be Mila Kunis. She speaks Russian, but she can't read and write. And a lot of other people, like I think the YouTuber Xiaoma, he can speak Mandarin, but I think I remember that he cannot read nor write. But my approach is to, like, my first goal with Russian was to be able to read Dostoevsky's Преступление и наказание, Crime and Punishment, in Russian. So of course I have to be able to read Cyrillic. I mean, at least know how to read Cyrillic, but I think it's an opportunity wasted if I don't learn to write as well. So 2021, that's the first thing I do. I mean, this is the first thing I did. Sorry, that's the first thing I did, and it was to read. To learn Cyrillic, reading it and writing it. So, on to the differences between the two and why I think Mandarin is more difficult. And if I didn't study it in school, I would probably not study it as an adult, or maybe I would just to be closer to the culture of my ancestors, because I am in the end fourth generation Chinese immigrant here in the Philippines. So first would be the script, okay, which I'm going to use my phone to write. So I think I would start with the script, right? So let's start with Russian. So basically Russian, I wanted to say, let's say the word me, yeah. So ya is actually, it looks like a reversed R. This is ya, yeah. So ya means me, and this letter in the alphabet is already the sound ya. Wait, I'll do that again. And I want green. I want the color green. Why? Just because. Okay. So here we are. So let's start with, so me in Russian is ya. So ya engineer, like ya engineer. So this is me in Russian. So let's write, what am I doing? So I'll write, no, I'll write Русский I think that's too, yeah. I'm just a beginner, okay? So might be wrong. I don't know. So it's Ruski. This is ya. This is me. Now for Mandarin, 中文. Is that how you write it? Okay. So first with Mandarin, 中文, this is what me is. Ew, my handwriting. Sorry. Actually. And I'm actually going to erase that because these are two different words. So 中文, this is me, 我, and this character doesn't have any sound. I mean, if I show you this, if you look at this character, this is not an alphabet. There's no other word in the Chinese dictionary that looks like this. This is specifically the word for me. So, my phone locked. How do you say this? So now you need the letters of the sounds. Okay, it's the Chuyin or pinyin. We were taught Chuyin in my school. So for pinyin is actually the using Latin alphabet to create the sounds. So this would be Chuyin. Chuyin would be. So how you say this is these two sounds, the consonant on top and the vowel below. So u, o, wo, and then you have the fourth sound. So there's actually two. There are four sounds in Mandarin. So there's the 第一声, 第二声, 第三声, 第四声. So this is the first sound, second sound, third sound, and fourth sound. These are not accents, but these are actually like for example, this is 我. So that's how you say it, 我. And then there's 我 if it's the first one, then 我 if it's the second one, and then 我 if it's the third sound, which is the corresponding sound for this word me, 我. And then 我 would be the fourth sound. That's a different word. So each of this could be read, could have this sound, but if this would be, usually you don't write 第一声, the first sound, you don't really write it down. So if this is the first sound, this is 我, then this is not going to be the character. This would be a different character. So this would be a different character. 我, that would be a different character. And if I put the second, it would be 我. That's also a different character. So basically it's not going to be this character here. And then I just wrote the pinyin here. So this is 我. And then with the third sound, with the third, I don't know, with the third, it's not an accent because there's no accent, because this one is just a word. So just by that alone, it would take you more time to know, to learn how to read, because for Russian, yeah, this is it. And for Mandarin, you have to know all the consonants, all the consonant sounds, and the vowel sounds, and then these four intonations. No, I don't know what they're called. And these four different sounds, if it's going straight up, third, or the fourth, or going down. And then you would have to know the corresponding character here. So, how does this work? I'm going to show you. Actually, this is very interesting because I love this app. It's called Link. And, for example, but of course, this one was made by a Canadian, and he, of course, it's easier for them to. So, and then there's the traditional and the shorthand Mandarin. I learned the traditional. So, like for example, this one. Let's see this word. 可是. 可是. However, 可是. So this is 可是. 可 itself has a different meaning. 是 itself is a different meaning. Together they have a different meaning. And this is translated as however. And the sound is here. 可是. So it's 可 is third, so it's 可. And then 是 is going, it's the fourth sound. So 可是. That's however. So that's how you read. Like for example, I don't know this word 刀. This is 刀. 刀. Where does it go down? 刀. Wait. 刀. Like if I saw this word and I don't know that word, so at least I know how to say it. So it means inverted. So that's how you basically learn Mandarin. And for Russian, it's pretty much like Latin alphabet. I mean words. You have one word. Let's see.
Обращают.
Let's say обращает. This word обращает. So it's A, B, R, A, and I think is it R. Обращает. And then this sound, and then this sound, and then put them all together. Обращает. So the letters make up the words, and then that's it. So basically that's the first thing, the first big difference between Mandarin and Russian, and this is why I think Mandarin is far more difficult to study, and it would take more time to adjust to understanding how the alphabet works. I mean, compared to Cyrillic, learning Cyrillic and then putting them all together to become one word. What else? The other difference would be conjugation, I think. Like, for example, what I can think of is work, работать in Russian, but in Mandarin it's 工作, or literally the noun 工作. Yes. And then, or 做事, like to do something, to make some, to do. Still, делать is to make, do. 工作, I think is work. But my point is, like for example, work. I work, or okay, maybe let's do speak. Говорить. I speak, я говорю. You speak, ты говоришь. Он, она говорит. And then we говорит. And then говорят, I think, or говорят. I'm not sure, but basically I speak, you speak, we speak, they speak changes the word, like работаю. I know. Sorry, it's говорю, I speak, and говоришь, you speak. But in Mandarin, it's 我说, 你说. It's 说 is the same, speak is the same. So you just change I to you, and it's still speak. So it's, yeah, so that sense Mandarin is more similar to English in that sense. I think that's one of the main things. I think that's it for now. I might have to go and brush up on my Mandarin and see and learn more about Russian and see more differences or similarities. But again, just with the alphabet, the sounds, the chuyin, or if you, most of the time people don't learn the chuyin, they just learn the pinyin. So the character of the word is different from the sound. So there's a pinyin or chuyin for the sound, and there's the character for the word. But in Russian, the only thing you have to do is learn Cyrillic. And once you know the sounds of each letter of the Cyrillic alphabet, you put them together. But there are accents, so sometimes the accent is in the first or the syllable, second syllable, but it's similar to English in that way. So there are the differences. Those are the differences that I think, the major differences between Russian and Mandarin, and which is why I think Mandarin is more difficult, or it takes more time for a person to learn. Now, if you're equally passionate about both of these languages, 100% equal, I would suggest you start with Russian. At least by then, by the time that you've learned Russian, probably after 2-3 years, or maybe even after 1 year, then you could start slowly learning Mandarin. Because I think, as in the case of anything, being able to accomplish, especially if this is your first foreign language, a language different from your native language, if your native language is English, German, or any other Romance languages like Spanish, French, Portuguese, Russian and Mandarin, Chinese are very different from those languages, and the alphabet and the characters. So I think, if you're equally passionate with both, of course, my ancestry is Chinese, so it would be great for anyone to learn Mandarin. Or how about learn Filipino? That would be way easier than Russian or Mandarin, and you could speak with a lot of Filipinos all over the world. But if you're equally interested or passionate about either Russian or Mandarin, I would suggest learning Russian first. And at least if you have some, maybe B1 level in Russian, at least you can have your sense of accomplishment that I learned a foreign language, and then it would motivate you to learn Mandarin. But if you are more interested in Mandarin than Russian, right now, you can start with Mandarin. Learn the chuyin or the pinyin, and then learn words, and then go from there. Because language learning is a long haul. It is a long haul flight to the destination. It is a marathon. You continue doing it every single day. Take breaks when you need, but basically the language is there for you to utilize if you want to. So thank you for watching this video, and if it helped you if my breakdown of the two languages helped you learn which one you want, please write it in the comments, and then see you in the next video.